atmosphere and activities for all ages: tennis, swimming, and a playground. But the fun doesn't stop after dark. There's even a bar and an arcade. And if you aren't ready to go home yet, we've even got a spacious room for your comfort, complete with air conditioning, Wi-Fi, and a private bathroom. The Toucan Mall can also facilitate your event in our spacious conference hall. We also have a theater with films for the entire family. It's the Toucan Mall located in Amelia's Ward, Linden.
A very good evening to all of my friends and relatives and well-wishers, and those of you who look forward to tuning in on a great and beautiful Thursday afternoon. Welcome once again to Health and Healing, and your host, as you know, Dr. Haynes, is here with my beautiful operator, Miss Adams, directing the show in the studio and just doing her thing to provide you with information that you can use. Well, once again, as I said, it's Thursday, July 16th. Half of the year is gone already, and many of us are not going to be able to accomplish much of what we wanted to accomplish for this year, because there's a factor that there are two factors that are responsible in a very big way. One has to do with something that we are still battling with. Actually, both of them, but the COVID situation, which continues to plague our country and many countries across the world, still exists, still creating havoc, and still misbehaving. And I am told that many of our Guyanese citizens are still not complying. They're still not following the rules, still not wearing masks and observing the 6 feet apart, safe distancing process. They're not avoiding collusion with each other. Either in bars. I understand that there's a trick, a sort of a tricky thing that's happening now with many of the persons who are alcoholics and who have to have their fun with alcohol. What is happening now is that many of the liquor stores even some restaurants are opening the doors to let people in, and then they're locking the doors and they're doing their thing inside. Sneakily they're congregating and drinking liquor and having fun, and that is not going to help the situation there. Look, we need to get back to normalcy. We need to get back to normalcy where it stands with the virus urgently. And I am pleading with you to follow the rules. Follow the rules and do what you're told, because there's nothing to play with. Nothing to play with. So please do what you have to do. Stay at home. Stay at home, please. Doing some work here. Stay at home. Take care of your garden, which you probably didn't start yet. My colleague is saying give her a shout out. My colleague and doctor doctor friend saying give her a shout out. Hi, doc. glad you're tuning in. Um, we have to get to the point where we somehow understand that time doesn't wait on anyone. You know, time is a monster that you can do nothing about. It will go. It will continue to go, even if you use it or not. Many of you are wasting it. Are wasting it. My colleague is saying I must say a very special hello to a special doctor who has been working along with me on some of my cases, and she has been. She's been. We've been, talking about different situations that are critical, and we've been coming together in our own way to find solutions, and it's working really, really well because we are combining several approaches in resolving issues, and that is what we need. For the sake of the person who comes to us for help, it's a beautiful thing because we are combining different approaches and resolving issues in a very big way. All right, I'm looking at the count in Guyana at the moment with the corona. 314 cases, 19 deaths. It went up. 19 deaths, 5 in ICU, an intensive care unit. 19 deaths, and we could lose any amount and add to this total. Right? I remember when it was just 10, and then it was 11. 6 new today. 6 new cases today are added to that list, and that's a list that maybe needs upgrading, right? Updating. I want to tell you that we have good news. When we screen persons and we screen live at the office, when we screen persons, we also screen for the coronavirus, and I'm not ashamed to say it or afraid to say it. We get you the results in 50 minutes, 10 to 50 minutes, you get the results. And for all of the persons who we screened who were positive, and I'm proud of this, we had over 42 cases, I think, right? None of them which are added to this number here. All of them, with our treatment, have overcome the coronavirus. Every one of them. And it's a very good achievement because you hear all sorts of things. Oh, there's no cure for it. Oh, there's no this, there's no that. No. We haven't lost a single person to coronavirus, and we've had some bad cases. All of them are well today, and we continue to screen. Every time I screen a person, I also screen them for the virus. And if we find the virus present, then we treat them. Okay? I'm not ashamed and afraid to say it. We have the solution. We are helping people to overcome all sorts of things, including the coronavirus. Don't be afraid. Follow the rules. That's all you gotta do is follow the rules. Right? But don't put yourself in the path of the virus. Don't. Putting yourself in the path of the virus is like putting yourself in the path of a hurricane. Okay? You don't want to take chances. Right? Today is the 16th. Yep, the 16th. 6 more persons recovered from COVID-19. 1 new case and 1 death recorded. As of the 16th of July 2020, Guyana has recorded 100. I'm missing some information here. 100 and something illnesses. There were 133 active cases in isolation at various facilities, and they're asking that persons continue to apply the rules. Okay? Now, I'm going to also say this, that the more persons that are tested, the more cases that are going to be recorded. Okay? It's going to happen because many persons are walking around with corona and have no idea that they have corona. And I'm not talking about the beer, not the corona beer. Many persons are walking around with coronavirus and don't know they have it. Many persons don't have the symptoms of coronavirus, but they have corona. Okay? Many persons are transmitting it, but it's not affecting them. Funny, strange, right? I had I had a case or a situation where we had um, I've mentioned this I think already. Three persons living in the same house. One person had it very bad, positive tested. Two others didn't have it, living in the same house. Yes. So you could be living in a house with someone and they could have the coronavirus and you wouldn't catch it. But there's a reason. There's a reason. All right. Now, here's my thinking. If your immune system is at a stage where it guards you, it protects you from certain illnesses, then you will be shielded from the illness. Okay? That is the reason why I'm saying to you, and I say to you all the time, your immune system is the greatest defense for anything. Your immune system. So what you want to do? You want to keep building the immune system. You want to keep enhancing the immune system. You want to make sure that you protect yourself at all times. Don't drop your guards. Don't. I know what it feels like to drop your guards. I used to be a boxer. Right? I'm telling you, and I wasn't just an ordinary boxer. Okay? I know what it feels like to drop your guards. You don't want to drop your guards. You want to keep your guards up at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Why? Because you never know. You never know where the weakness is. You never know. So you protect yourself at all times. Don't congregate. Don't go out there and expose yourself without a mask. You're told to wear a mask, wear a mask. Why? Because you don't know if you have it. You don't know if the other person you're going to be in contact with have it. Be safe. And listen. Some of you are wearing things. You're not wearing a mask. Some of you are wearing face coverings. You're not wearing a mask. Some of the things that you're wearing are not protecting you. Some of you. And I'm serious about that. Some of you need better protection. You need to get real mask. Yes, some of you need to get real mask. So get them. Okay? Get them. Right? Some of you need to understand that the time that you have allotted to you should be used effectively and efficiently. Get out there, plant your own foods, feed yourself, spend time with your children, teach them the right things. All the ones that are wayward, call them in and sit down and talk with them. The ones who are criminals, you pull them in. Pull them in for fitness, talk with them, listen, encourage them. This is not the way to go. Right? Some of you know very well your children are they're doing things that are wrong and wicked. Maybe you're happy because it's benefiting you. But one day it will come to an end, and the end that comes may not be the end that you want to have happen to them. So if they're doing the wrong things, my friends, advise them. This is not the way to go. Okay? Let them do the right things. Right? The next thing is, some of you forget that you have issues. You have hypertension, you have diabetes, you have asthma, you have all sorts of things wrong with you. But yet still, you're living as though you're safe. I'm good, nothing wrong with me. Well, the ones that are more likely to suffer gravely from the coronavirus are the ones with pre-existing conditions. Meaning that you either have diabetes, hypertension, asthma, bronchial troubles, something. Something you got. right? So I'm pleading with you, do the right thing, okay? Do the right thing. I know many of you are very disappointed that you can't call me and you can't, you can't really air your concerns. But you can call the studio, not the 231-647-701. That's the number you call for appointments. And we are taking appointments. You don't have to worry. We are taking appointments and we are seeing and screening patients or persons, and we're taking care of people, lots of people, right? But you call the studio, and my operator, she's so beautiful and so helpful, is going to take that information and she will pass it on to me, and I will answer it for you to the best of my ability. Okay, I know you missed that part of this, that segment of our program. That was the most exciting segment because we used to have some good laughter, some comments, some suggestions. We used to be able to help each other with other people's issues. I miss that part too because that's the best part. But you can still call my operator. She will put the number on the screen. And I hope that she would leave it there. You can still call her and she will record the information and send it to me. And I will repeat it back, that way everyone can hear, and then we will deal with it, right? I was made to understand that we had a very bad storm at Linden maybe a couple of days ago. Very bad storm, and it affected many persons' personal items. It affected the studio at Linden at the mall. It affected some equipment that we have, damaged some equipment we have, and it also created some serious problems for many persons. Burnt their fridges, their televisions, destroyed a lot of the modems. I mean, it was really crazy. I don't know what kind of storm was that. Maybe it was a corona storm. Maybe it was. I don't know. But it destroyed a lot of equipment there at Linden, and I hope that that somehow we would be able to minimize the cost to fix things back, because it's going to be costly to fix things. Yeah. But we have to, there's not much we can do to protect ourselves from the elements that are natural. Not much that we can do. We just have to plug everything out as much as we can, shut things down and protect things. That's the best that we can do. And when the storm passes, we turn them back on. Everybody will understand that. I think so, right? Well, I have some information I want to share with you regarding a fake food item. Okay? I would like my operator to put that fake food item on so you can see what some people are doing to earn money. They have no concern for the lives of people. So they make these fake foods and they look real and they eat like if they're real, but they're not real. I'm talking about it, my teeth is kind of feeling like funny. There's some plastic food happening out there, my friends. And I'd like my operator to put that on so you can see one of them. And I'd like you to be real careful with your purchasing to ensure that you're buying healthy, natural foods. That's why I say to you, grow your own. Right? So stay tuned. Now that is a fake cabbage, right? This man, whoever he is making. This man is making something that we grow, but it's not real. Look at it. Look at what he's doing. This is what they do to make money, right? They're making foods to make money. Look at how he's going to do this thing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Look at it. And I have seen cabbage that look like that in the store. I have. Right? and he makes you know the give is a real thing. Look at it. That's what they're doing. Imagine. Look at it. Amazing. Amazing. That's awesomely creative and dangerous. Because if you eat that, let him break it down inside of you. And you're going to have problems, and you may even suffer fatally by using that particular food item. You know, so when you go to buy it, test it. How do you test it? You take it and you kind of, you tear it, a little bit of it, to see if it's going to come off easily, right? Because it's plastic. If it's plastic, it wouldn't happen, right? But it feels real, it looks real, but it's not real. Okay? That is one. The next thing I want you to see has to do with some inventors, but we're going to save that for the next half an hour, right? I don't want to play this half hour. I'll play that the next half hour, so you can call all your buddies and you can tell them that we're going to look at some inventors that will amaze you as to who invented what, right? So we are a very smart race of people, and I know I did a couple of inventions myself. I'm not I'm not one of those smart guys, but I did a couple of inventions, and I know what it takes to invent. So when you see some of what is invented, you will realize that some things we were given the wrong information, right? Now, someone sent me something here that's very interesting, very, very interesting. Avoid sudden death at night, and the doctors are giving advice, okay? For those who get up at night to inspect the house or urinate, every person must take note of 3.5 minutes, okay? 3.5 minutes, it often happens. A person who always looks healthy has passed away at night. We often hear stories of people saying, yesterday I was talking with him or her. You know, how come they're so gone? It can't be real. It can't be real that they're gone. The reason is that when you get up at night to go to the toilet, it often happens quickly. I thought of that the other day. You know, people eat foods and they go to bed, and they choke themselves in the bed at night and create conditions that they don't know, they can't do nothing about, and they pass away in the bed. There are persons who suffer with high blood pressure that eat foods, or diabetes, eat foods at night and go to bed, that sends their pressures sky high up in the air, burst arteries, and nobody knows. And they wake up in the morning and they can't wake the person up. If you're alone, it happens, right? Now, why are 3.5 minutes so important? In the middle of the night, when the desire to urinate wakes you up, the ECG pattern can change by suddenly waking up. The brain will be anemic, and this causes heart failure for the lack of blood flow to the brain. Because you remember, you're in one position, right? All of a sudden you get up. Okay? You're laying down, all of a sudden you go whoop, and then you get up and walk, right? Now, it is advised to practice the 3.5 minutes, which are when you wake up, stay in bed for 1.5 minutes. Sit down, in other words, when you wake up, sit down. Don't just jump up. Some people do it. That's why some people say sudden death, right? When you wake up, raise up and sit down. Sit on the bed during the next half of a minute. Lower your legs and sit on the edge of the bed for half a minute. If your bed is high, then if your bed is low, then you just put your feet down. After 3.5 minutes, your brain will no longer be anemic and your heart will not be weakened. This will reduce the risk of falling and or sudden death. Right? There's more that goes along with this. Okay? But when you wake up, my friends, and I said this over and over in my program, when you wake, don't just jump out of bed and run. Because your brain, you're laying down, right? Your blood is flowing one way. Now when you raise up, your blood has to flow a different way. Okay? You could create sudden death by doing that. You can cause that. Right? This even happens to babies in their cradles. But we call it crib death. Sometimes the baby chokes because you feed the baby late and the baby chokes during the night when the baby sleeps and drown themselves from their own fluid that you feed them with, especially if it's heavy fluid like porridge and so. So don't feed your babies heavy at night. Feed them light. And if you feed them, try to keep them in a position where the food can get out of their stomach before you lay them down. Some of you rush to put the baby in the cradle or somewhere in the bed as soon as they lay down. As soon as they fall asleep from drinking or eating, you put them in the bed. No. Keep them in the sitting position for a while before you lay them down. Allow that food to come out of the stomach. Even the babies. And the adults, same thing. When you eat, don't rush to bed. Don't eat in the bed unless you're sick. And if you're sick and you eat in the bed, sit up in the bed. Don't lay down. You can choke in the bed. Yes, right? So you want to try and avoid jumping up suddenly and getting up and running to the toilet or whatever. You want to avoid eating and laying down too fast. And you want to avoid doing it to the babies. Don't do it to the babies. Sometimes you give them the milk or the tea and you fill their belly. Belly full, they go to sleep. Right? Your mother always tell you, your grandmother always tell you, burp the baby before you put them to lay down. Or when they finish drinking, burp them. Get the gas, the air out of their system. Right? But if you lay them down too soon and they choke, that particular situation can cause them to drown in their own sleep from fluids in their own stomachs. Okay? So don't do that. Right? The next thing, some of you are already hypertensive and diabetic. You don't know why you became diabetic nor hypertensive. Try to find out. Because you may be doing the same thing that caused you to become diabetic or hypertensive over and over, which will eventually take you out. It will eventually kill you. So if you were okay and all of a sudden you were told that you're hypertensive or diabetic, find out why. Yesterday in my screening here abroad, it was realized that a very young lady, very young, highly motivated, potential, pretty, became diabetic suddenly. She was good until a few months back. Nothing unusual in her diet or so. Okay? What I found with her yesterday was that she picked up a condition that interfered with her blood sugar performance. It interfered with her thyroid, interfered with her pancreas. And because the islets of Langerhans was clogged with fats, yes, it was clogged with fats, all of the foods that she consumed that was high in fats and sugars went straight into her pancreas, straight into the bloodstream, and that's what's got her puzzling. So what we're trying to do now is to reverse that condition that caused her to be thrown into that state. And we started only yesterday, right? So, I mean, it's good to know why you have a problem. It really is good to know why you have a problem. And if you have a problem, it's good to know what you can do to overcome it. We have those answers, many of them, right at the clinic. And you have the numbers. Some of you don't believe, some of you don't care, some of you are going to say, well, I'm going to die of something anyway. That's okay. But if we are to be part of the change that's responsible for helping you to live a longer, healthier life, then we'll be the ones to face you or you to face us. It's not for everyone. We're not here to save everybody. We can't. Only those who have been directed to come will be saved by us, if they are to be saved by us. That's my belief. Okay? All right, now, the other situation that have us in jeopardy is our elections. Now, you don't know. Some of you may think it's politics, but let me tell you something. An enormous amount of persons in Guyana and abroad are becoming sicker every day because of the state of our political system. Yes, believe it or not, the stress levels are continuously going up. They're worrying about what's going to happen to their families. They're worrying now about the situations that are going to be levied upon the Guyanese people. All because of some people who apparently don't care. Apparently don't care. That's all I can say. Because if you did care, then you would try to resolve the issue very quickly so that the people can move on without penalties. If it continues like it is, there will be serious penalties levied upon the people of Guyana. Yes, even the ones that are in government right now, and the ones that are responsible for the decisions that are made that are not right. Apparently, there are some persons who believe one thing or another. Okay? Apparently, there are persons who believe one thing or another. Well, let me tell you this. Some of you who are lawyers need to go back to law school. Some of you who are not lawyers need to shut up. Some of you who are not politicians need to shut up. Need to shut up. Because you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? Let the process occur as it needs to occur and let the country move on, because many persons are becoming sick, many persons are frustrated, many persons are angry, many persons are tired of what's going on, many persons, and it's affecting. They're calling me, they're texting me, and I can't help it. There's nothing I can do. I'm not the one to do it. I'm not in the position to do anything. I'm not. Okay? Those who are responsible need to do what it takes to fix it. And they know what they have to do. I'm not going to say what they have to do, but they know what they have to do. Right? But it's going to hurt us if we don't fix it, and we don't fix it fast enough. And it is a sad thing because I'm a Guyanese too. You know? Many visas are going to be revoked. Monies are going to be cut maybe from maybe programs that are being financed by different organizations, I guess, that are involved in our affairs. I don't like it. I don't like it. So you guys and girls, women and men, boys and girls, fix it. We have one of the most beautiful countries in the southern hemisphere. Just some terrible decision makers. Terrible. Right? Okay. We're gonna take a break. Never done this hardly. And then when we come back in, I want us to look at the inventors who did some great things for the world and probably were not even recognized. Okay? Let us take a look at them. We have, and I may not be calling them in order, we have Dr. Walter McAfee, the African American mathematician and physicist who was first to calculate the speed of the moon in 1946. That's not very long ago when you think of it. That's not very long ago. It's not. We also have Edmund Berger, who invented the spark plug in 1839. He invented the spark plug. Believe it, the spark plug is what sends the signal to the engine, to the electronic system to get the vehicles moving, right? And these are all, by the way, African American people. I don't like to use the word black people, right? These are African American people. We were told that Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, right? Thomas Edison, we were told, invented the light bulb. Well, the guy who invented the filament, which is the part that lights the bulb, was an African American, Louis Latimer. He invented the filament, which is the little thing that you see inside the bulb that lights the bulb. Without the filament, you don't got no bulb. You don't. And then we're looking at the first African woman there, attended Yale University, became the first woman to receive the NAACP Chairman Rights Leadership Award for helping to raise the image of blacks or Africans. Right? She died in 1998. Remember the movie The Lone Ranger? The Lone Ranger, I used to like to watch that. It's like a series of activities, and so The Lone Ranger. Well, the real Lone Ranger was an African man named Bass Reeves. He was the original Lone Ranger, and he did live among the Indians. He did. he could not be used at the time as the Lone Ranger, so they put a Caucasian guy to do that, right? Look at the lady, the beautiful lady, Dr. Shirley Jackson. Dr. Shirley Jackson. The telephone that we are using, the touch tone telephone, caller ID, and the fiber optic cable was invented by Dr. Shirley Jackson, an African American. These people don't really get recognition, right? They don't. Those of us who are enjoying the internet like we are today, the internet was invented by Emmett McHenry. He created the code whereby ordinary people can now surf the web so easily. We can surf the web without even knowing how to do anything with a computer. right? We have Mangin, Anna Mangin, the African American woman who invented the pastry fork in 1891. No wonder y'all women are so good in the kitchen. But listen, men are the best chefs, okay? You don't get carried away. Men are the best chefs. I'm saying that without any doubt. But you women can handle yourselves in the kitchen. Okay? Why you can handle yourself so much? Because you invented the fork. An African American woman invented the fork. Y'all could come down on me like that. I don't care. She invented the fork in 1891. Before then, we had no fork. Right? And then we had this guy named Otis Boykin. Otis Boykin. Otis Boykin invented the pacemaker that saves lives in people's hearts today. Otis Boykin. Yes, African American black man, as you see. African American. But I don't like to say black man. African American. All right. The elevator. The elevator that you go in all these big fancy hotels and restaurants and press a button and it takes you up. Yes. Alexander Miles, an African American, invented the elevator. Yes. Daniel Hale Williams, the first African cardiologist. Daniel Hale Williams, the first African cardiologist. He performed the very first successful open heart surgery and founded the very first non-segregated hospital. Y'all believe that? And I have a whole long list of other inventors who did things that they're not recognized for. Lots of things. And you know what? I might use this to ask questions. For instance, who invented the lock, the padlock, and what year was it invented? I wonder if my operator can answer that. Who invented the padlock? And what year was it invented? Oh, yes, she reminded me of something. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. She's such a good, I should let her talk about that one. Right? Even the remote that we use today, the remote for television. Huh? The remote. She's giving me a whole lot of stuff here. Oh, the watermark, the remote for your televisions. Who do you think invented that? The remote for your TV. The stethoscope you use to check blood pressure and all that, your pulse rate. All of those things were invented by African Americans. The thermostat that controls your electricity, your ear and all of that. The thermostat that goes in a vehicle to control the temperature. Frederick Jones. You know? We have so many things that I can tell you. So many things. The mop that you use to wipe your floor. Thomas W. Stewart, African American. Right? So, listen, don't knock us. Don't knock us. Okay? The guy who invented the remote control that you use today to put on that television to watch me, his first name is Joseph, and he was also a doctor. Dr. Joseph N. Jackson invented the television remote control. Gotta be a Joseph, man. Gotta be a Joseph. Them Joseph don't play, right? So my friends, my friends, my friends, I want you to tell me who invented the potato chip. Let me see if my operator could show me. Who invented the potato chip? You know those chips that you crunch on? Who invented the potato chip? Show me. The man's name is George Crumb. So when you chew a potato chip today, it's an African American who invented the potato chip. Right? Let me tell you something. You really can't, you really shouldn't, you really need to stop this thing about racism. You really need to stop. Because without the African American, or the African, or the black person, we would have been in darkness, literal darkness. So don't knock the African. Don't. Let's stop the nonsense. We need each other. Stop the racist nonsense. I hate it. Don't come to me with no racist business. Don't come to me with that. You will lose me. I wouldn't tolerate it. So all of you Guyanese who are hooked on racism, I don't care which side of the coin you're on, stop it. Why? We need each other. Don't be fearful of the person who will lead you if the race of the person is not of your kind. He is just like you. He put on his pants just like you. He sit down in the toilet just like you. He urinate just like you, if he ain't got a catheter in him. He put on his clothes just like you, one sleeve at a time. When he die, he go into the earth or they gonna burn him just like you. He ain't no better than you. He may be in a little position more than you. He may be earning more than you, but he ain't no better than you. So don't tolerate the racists. Rebuke it. It needs to go on the bottom of your foot. Buried. Too much of the nonsense. We need to stop it. Now. Learn to live and love together. When Jesus come again, he ain't gonna look at you as a white or a black or Indian or a Chinese or Portuguese. He's looking at your soul. And guess what? I have a strong belief that if you are racist, when he come for you, he gonna cast you to the pits because he's not racist. Ain't nothing about him that's racist. The God you worship is not a racist God. You can't be sitting in the pews or at the pulpit praying to God, and then when you come out of the congregation, the building, you're a